Perfect. I should have been watching the screen. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Karlsson, and you're here watching The Art of Computer Science. Wow, thank you, Josh, for the thingamabob. Let's see here. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I think everyone can hear me, right? Let's just get started, okay? Let's just get started. So, Art of Computer Science. But before we get started, stop me if you've heard this one before. How many times have you seen one of these presentations where you see someone come up here and they say, I've been programming since I was 4 years old. I built my first computer when I was I was still a fetus in the womb, and I'm a prodigy at this. Well, or maybe they've said something like maybe they built a protocol droid from scratch, and maybe they've told you that they're a pro pod racer and slightly force sensitive. Has anyone ever told you that before? Well, that's not me. That's not me. That's not me at all. I've struggled with programming. I've been in fact, actually, a lot of my instructors in college would probably be wincing if they knew I was talking to all y'all about finding your place in programming today. My goal with this talk is to inspire you all to find what you love about programming, and I want to talk a little bit about how I found my joy in programming through art and even through comedy. So before we get started, if anyone wants to follow along with any of these slides, let me know. Just let me know. This is all on here too. Anytime you see a QR code, just scan it with your phone. Slides, videos, resources, links, whatever. That's all going to be there for you. Okay, cool. If you have a question, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the chat over here, and the moderators will be sending those over to you. I will have time here. Actually, moderators, just send the questions over. I'm just going to answer them while, in the presentation. I feel like it works great if I just, can answer it while I'm chatting here. So, feel free. Just ask questions. Okay, let's see here. Let's get the obvious out of the way here. Yes, I am another boring white dude in tech. And I want to just take this time to acknowledge my privilege in the industry as a cis white man. And I understand that a lot of the people watching this presentation might not have the same experiences as me. And again, my goal is to help you find what you love about tech and help you find your communities that you love. So does that make sense? I'm a boring white dude. Your mileage may vary with this stuff too. And I want to try to talk about or give advice about finding your place in tech, even if you don't look like me. Lots of privilege, okay? Okay, so who is this white dude talking to you about art and computer science? Well, I am so glad you asked that, me who wrote the slide in the past. My name is Joe Karlsson, and I work for a company called MongoDB. I'm a developer advocate and software engineer. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, just hit me up on Twitter. I also make funny TikTok videos. I post this on TikTok too. I'm also on LinkedIn. So if anyone wants to hit me up on there too, I'd love to connect with everyone watching this talk today. Again, all links are there. And most importantly here, opinions. This is a highly opinionated talk. Any opinions I give are a reflection of me and not of my employer. I love my job, so please don't get me fired. Okay, great. Now we have all that out of the way. Oh, great. Developer advocate. I should say developer advocate is I get asked this a lot, and it's kind of a weird job. It's my dream job. I've been shooting for this job for forever. Basically, developer advocate is just a fancy word for somebody who has the honor of speaking to devs and making cool things for them. I write documentation, I speak at conferences, I write blog posts, I make YouTube videos, I Twitch stream. By the way, I do that every Friday at noon Eastern time on the MongoDB Twitch channel. That's me. Otherwise, previously, I was a full-stack JavaScript instructor at one of the top 10 best developer boot camps in the world. I did that for several years in Honolulu, Hawaii at DevLeague, which was a great honor. I loved it. That's actually where I got my love of programming there, which is great. And I also was a technical lead for a big blue e-commerce company based out of the Twin Cities. I'm not going to say which one. I will say it's not Target. But I've done software engineering. I've done technical lead. I've been a manager. I've been an instructor. I've been a peon in the trenches, slamming out code. I've done it all. Okay, and most importantly, y'all, today I am someone with a great honor of speaking to all of you, so thank you so much. So I just want to talk a little bit about my coding journey. So let's just sort of back at the beginning of time, or as some people put it, the Unix Epoch, which, by the way, is such a cool word. And if you don't know, the Unix Epoch starts at January 1st, 1970, which is apparently when programmers decided time starts. And with all that being said, I'm actually not going to start all that way back. I'm going to start back when it matters for me, which is college. Yeah, my college professors. I was a terrible college student. I was a computer science major, and a terrible one at that. And if my computer science professors knew I was here, they would freak out. But I started going to school in 2008, which was one of the many last times the economy has collapsed. I know we're like in a new one of those. If you're a recent grad or like just graduated from a boot camp, you might be able to relate to this. But I went to school to start one of the last Great Depression, right? And I was terrified about finding a job. I had just like horrible anxiety about finding a new gig. I started as an art history major, and I ended up switching to physics and then eventually to computer science. But the reason I say that is computer science was not my passion and not something I cared about, and I joined it because I was afraid of making money after I graduated. And I just want to say that's okay. I think that that's a common thing, and I feel like in this industry we get told a lot that you're not welcome unless you have a pure passion for tech, and money, any need for money in your life is just not going to cut it, which is total bullshit. You know what I mean? Right? It's totally okay to get in this field if you're not 100% passionate about it. And then it gets to this too, but like I joined tech, I think, out of fear, and it took me years to find a place in it that I felt good about and that made me feel excited about tech. And that's okay too. Okay, so my first programming job, I was working as a Microsoft consultant during the Ballmer years. He's the guy pumping his fist there. I don't know if you've seen this video, the developers video. But I found no joy in programming. I was constantly looking for a way out. In fact, I had a band called the Dry Dreams, and that was my ticket out. I thought, obviously we didn't make it. Obviously I stuck with tech, but I was just like constantly looking for my way out of tech. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of us feel like that. We just like feel like Squidward, just kind of going through the motions. You know what I mean? I was just feeling kind of lost in it. But this is super lucky. I know not everyone can do this, but I had the opportunity to move to Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii for 4 to 5 years. And I actually moved to Hawaii to become a surf punk. I was like ready to like give up. I was ready to give up programming and like just like hang out and surf all day. That ended up not happening. But I got involved with the programmer community down there, and actually specifically got hooked up with like a bunch of the coder punks down there. It was much like surf coder punks. But the thing is, for like the first time in my life, I met people who were building stuff for fun and just because they liked it. You know what I mean? I think before I was like building it like just out of money, like for money, and it was just like boring and lame, and I hated it, and that's fine. I think, but meeting and joining a community of people who were like making stuff just for fun was like a total game changer for me. Oh my God, I forgot about that transition effect. Okay. In fact, I moved to Hawaii. This is a real shot at me in Hawaii. I ended up just staying inside and programming all the time. I surfed a little bit, but not a lot. It was mostly just me programming 24/7, which is kind of lame. Like going to Hawaii and just sitting inside of a room with a bunch of computer monitors in front of your face. You could do that anywhere, right? But through this community, though, in programming, I got especially interested in the intersection between art and tech. I really started doing a ton of art-based tech projects. In fact, I think that computers is the artistic medium of our generation. I think that everyone watching this talk right now is uniquely qualified to be exploring this, right? Like exploring the balance of like how internet, computers, it affects art. I think a lot of traditional artists don't know how to do the things we do. You know what I mean? I think that is so exciting to be exploring this like whole new part about tech. And in particular, I'm especially interested in the intersection between, I like that fine line between absolute stupid shit and kind of genius. I love it. I think that's just like a fun place to explore. And especially as like a mediocre developer, I think I'm very qualified to make really dumb, stupid stuff. In fact, I'm so enthusiastic about it. I run a hackathon called the Stupid Shit and Terrible Ideas Hackathon. And it was just a bunch of people making stupid garbage. In fact, some of like the top projects that came out of it was someone made a phone app that only takes photos when you shake it, so it only takes blurry photos. Or someone made a 6-foot huge, like cubed fidget spinner cube thing. You know what I mean? Like someone made like an IoT butt plug, which was super funny. It was like, you know what I mean? Like we were just like making stuff for fun for us. Because I feel like what happens a lot of time is people like corporate hackathons. You just like we make these stupid things for a corporation. It just like takes the joy out of it for us, and we just wanted to make fun stuff with our friends. So we did this hackathon and started making a community around that. It's the future, all right, guys. It's the future. Some other things I've done too. I made the Bechtel test program, which like uploads film scripts and analyzes them to tell if they pass the Bechtel test or not. I've also made something I call Punk. It's short for punctuation, but it analyzes punctuation for ebooks. So we found a new way to analyze Shakespeare, or you could compare Ernest Hemingway and I don't know, another author, right? Like you could just compare these. We also could do some like cool infographics and other cool stuff about that too, which we thought was kind of neat. But anyways, point is, all of us have this unique set of skills as engineers and programmers to explore this new artistic medium. I don't know. I think that's cool. And the point of this talk is I'm not trying to convince you that you need to make art your thing that is your joy in programming. I'm just saying it's what made me fall in love with programming and like made me see my work in a new way, in a new light. What I am trying to tell you is I want you all to actively find in your community. And I think everyone here is doing a great job. Like if you're here for like the MinneStar community, like this is a great place to like get involved and meet other people too, right? Like staying involved with the community, meeting them, trying to get involved, like get more involved with this community, because I think it's a great place to do that. And there's a ton, right? Like the Twin Cities in general, or wherever you are watching this, there's amazing places to find your community. I want you to explore what makes you interested in programming. Find your joy in that wherever you can. I want us to feel like Han Solo trying out Chewie's bowcaster for the first time. Continue to go to hackathons if you have time. I know this is all time thing too, right? Like we're all busy people. Some of us have families, but try to find your joy in that too. Okay, let's see here. This is a super fast talk. I just want to kind of end this though with some minor sub notes here. First thing I want to say is just like own your career. So if you get hired somewhere, your boss is going to try to tell you what you want or like what they want you to become. And I think it's important that you still own the direction of your career and like figure out what you want. Something I think that is important too, especially if you don't look like me, is finding sponsors out there who will go up to bat for you. So that, and what that means to find a sponsor in your career is to find someone who is advocating for you to get put on bigger projects, maybe advocating for you to get some speaking positions out in the field. Maybe they're advocating for you to work with some new people or to get a promotion, right? You're not looking for someone who's going to be giving you advice like this guy, right? You're looking for someone who's going to be like actively helping you. And that you need to find and identify those people in your org. And if you can't find them, you might have to find a new job. You might have to find a new gig, right? but own your career. I think like people try to take advantage of you and exploit you, especially if you're new in your career, and it's important for you to like figure out who's going to protect you and advocate for you. If you can't find that, try to find it somewhere else. I just want to say programming is super hard. I struggled with programming for a long time, especially when I didn't care about it. It wasn't until I started caring about it that I had the energy and motivation to like try to learn more about it. But programming is really hard. I just feel like people don't say that enough. You know what I mean? It's it takes a long time to learn. It takes a long time to get good at it. Going to a boot camp is a great place to start. It's just the beginning, right? You're like not ready to like build a massively scale enterprise application by the time you graduate. It's like it's a lifelong skill of learning how to grow and learn new skills through that career. Okay, cool. Hey, here's a question for you. What's the best programming language ever? Sound off in the comments. Let me know. Leave a like if I tell you what the best answer is. Let me tell you. So the answer, what's the best programming language, is who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Programming languages and code editors and whatever, they're all tools for us to solve a problem. And different tools do different things that solve different problems. So that's like asking a carpenter, like, hey, what's the best tool for building a house? Like, dude, that doesn't exist, right? I use a hammer and a screwdriver for different things. Each languages have different pros and different cons, and I don't know. I just hate that, like on Stack Overflow answers, where people are like, use this language because it's better than that one. Like, no, dude, I'm trying to solve this problem. We're already using this, like, and we decided that this was a good fit for this problem. You know what I mean? Like, there is no best programming language. Okay, so relatedly, what's the secret to being an amazing engineer? I get asked this all the time, like, hey, Joe, what's the secret? Hey, guess what? There is none. I wish there was a better answer for this. It's just hard. Being an engineer is hard. Getting ahead as an engineer is hard. And it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. You know what I mean? I think of this too, like, I get asked a lot, like, hey, what's the best video series for learning this? And like, videos are great for like learning how to like get into something, but do you think that like NBA players watch YouTube videos of people playing basketball to get better at basketball? No, they don't. They're all like playing basketball. And the best way for you to get better at becoming an engineer or better at coding is coding. You know what I mean? Point is, I just want you all to just build stuff and have fun. I want you to like enjoy what you're doing. You don't have to like you don't have to like love it. You don't have to like love it. You can go and just go home, and that's totally fine. I did that for years too. That's totally fine. But I want to encourage you to find a community of people that will make you find a joy in building. You know what I mean? I want you to have fun. I want you to get out there and just do it. Just build code. Just build code. Okay, so great. Let's do a quick recap here. I'm almost out of time. I want you to all get out there and try to find your community. MinneStar is a great place to start. Continue to keep coming to these events. Continue to hack. Continue to build open source stuff. Do whatever you want, but try to find a community of people that's going to support you. I want you to find your joy in programming. I found it through art and through comedy and TikTok. But you're not me, right? Everyone has different things they enjoy, and that's great. That's what I love about this field, is the huge diversity in problems and people and interests within that field. You know what I mean? And lastly, just build stuff and have fun. Okay, questions. Hit me up in the thing. The moderator's going to let me know. Otherwise, here's all my things. I just want to say thank you to everyone for having me. And again, if you want to keep hanging out with me, best way to do that is on Twitter, at Joe Karlsson1. But, yeah, let's see here. Questions. Here we go. Best programming language, pseudocode. Awesome. Love that. What is your advice for a woman in her mid-30s transitioning into tech? I was a lead. I I'm a man in my 30s, cis white man, which again, tons of privilege there. But yeah, boot camps have been great. There's a lot of great boot camps in the Twin Cities. They're great. Being self-taught is great. What I tell people too is like boot camps are like, I learned like my curriculum that I designed for my boot camp was like, I was teaching what I learned in 7 years of self-study into like 3 months. You know what I mean? It's a like accelerated way to learn a mass amount of stuff you could totally teach yourself. And college is always an option, but it's way more expensive. And the thing that you get out of a college, I think that you may not get other places, is network and community, which that's not to be discounted too. But you can get a network other places too. Like again, MinneStar, this event, other events that run by like locally run meetups are a great place to go and learn new stuff. Okay, let's see here. Any other comments, questions, concerns? I don't know. I'm also going to just plug my TikTok one more time. I don't know if that's your thing. There's like dozens of us on there, but you should totally come check that out. Okay, let's see here. Great. Got another question. Any thoughts on building towards your first job? Ooh, that's a great question. Yeah, first job. So that's assuming you have no experience. You didn't get a CS degree. You didn't go to boot camp. You're self-taught, right? So no one actually cares about education in tech. Well, that's not true. Like your first job, maybe, but no one's ever asked about my college degree. No one's ever asked to see my GPA. People only care about what have you done recently and does it help solve the problem we're trying to solve. So the other thing too is whiteboard interviews are really scary, and you definitely want to get good at those, which sucks. I hate them. But there is a shortcut for getting around sucking at whiteboard interviews like me, and that is networking. So continue going to these events. Stay involved with the Slack channels. I know it's hard during COVID, but come to these things. Be engaged. Get your name out there. The other thing is you want to make sure you're having a public portfolio. So what's key about that too is, especially if you're new, don't like build a website yet. Just use your GitHub as a portfolio, but try just like put everything you possibly have on there. Your goal is to show that you're learning and growing on stuff. For example, when I look at bootcamp grads, like I'm looking at their GitHubs to see like projects they built after they graduated the bootcamp. I want to see like what are they still exploring after they graduated, and like if they're still engaged learning, because like it's just you still have a lot of growth to do after a bootcamp or if you're self-taught, and I want to like see that. I want to see that exploration. You know what I mean? I just want to see the types of projects you have. I don't even really particularly care about what the projects are, but I want to see that you're learning how to know how to learn stuff. Because I always tell people this too. People don't hire me to build them things. They hire me to solve problems, and that may or may not be with code. And that code base is going to continually change, right? React and Angular and JavaScript and Rust and Go, like all these languages are coming and going and getting hot and getting cold. And like our job is like keep up with that stuff and solve problems with modern, like the best way possible. And that may be with modern tools or old tools, but the ability to learn that new stuff is key. Love this. Yeah, it's hard. It's a hustle. And like I said, I have a computer science degree. It was very mathy. And like, I don't think that was, I still consider myself a self-taught engineer because I don't use any of the skills I learned in college in my job today. All the stuff I use today, I had to self-teach. Everything about web development, software engineering, getting paid, negotiating, discussing requirements for a new project, that sort of like all that stuff is huge, right? Like learning that stuff. I don't want to discount too, like this presentation, we're talking a lot about technical skills, which are important. I think soft skills are huge too. Like an engineer who is building amazing stuff but not sharing any of it and not engaging with the community is not going to get hired. And like if I'm hiring a junior, I'm looking for someone who's going to be a great team player. So I want to see that they're like interacting with people online with like Git repo. So like, are they doing open source work? If they're solo, I want to see like, how do they work with other people? And if you're building stuff alone in your basement, that's gonna be hard to demonstrate that or like share that story. You just want to make sure you're like sharing it, like own it, own your career, share it. Twitter's a great place to do that. The 100 Days of Code Challenge is a great place, like a super healthy, amazing, supportive community to like share and build stuff on there with. Oh, totally. One of the mods backstage is asking if the GitHub portfolio could be an excuse for you got to be programming in your free time. Oh, I know, I totally agree. Those little green squares I think are super toxic. I think those little green squares on GitHub are addictive and promote a culture of nonstop programming by showing a year's worth of contributions daily. Like, what else is that trying to promote besides getting you to commit once to GitHub every single day? And like that may work for some people, but obviously that's not going to work for everyone. And not being able to do that doesn't mean you're a good or bad programmer. If you look at my GitHub, I have like massive inconsistencies with my contributions on there. And I even find personally, like in the summers, I program very little. I program more in the winter. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like even the summer, I was just making like goofy videos on TikTok and writing and making YouTube videos and Twitch streaming. But like in the winter, I tend to like I don't know. You know what I mean? Everyone's different though. Yeah. And like, this is the hard part too. Like I think getting into tech, it's hard. And I've gotten ahead in tech because I worked my ass off for it. And I don't know any other way to do it. But what I want to qualify that with is like, it's okay to not do that. And it's okay to be okay with where you're at. You know what I mean? Like if you have a job and it's like, you know what I mean? Like you don't always have to be advancing and learning and hustling 24/7. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And that's totally respectable. That's totally okay. Especially if you're new, just like get whatever you can. I remember my first job, someone paid me $50 for a website to make for their shitty band. There was just a band website. It took me like 80 hours to make, and I got massively overpaid. I don't know what that is. It's like $0.25 an hour. And I learned quickly on that, and I started charging more and doing better like websites after that. But like, yeah, I don't know. Just like start somewhere, making websites for people and trying to like grow on that. Okay, let's see here. I hope that wasn't too rambly or too. I hope that was still good. Okay, let's see here. I don't know. What else should I talk about? I wish I could see the comments right now. Yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys like can get into programming too. If anyone has questions about it, hit me up. You can totally chat with me online. I'd love to like talk about your journeys or like talk about stuff you get stuck on problems. Like programming language to learn or get started with, whatever. I think those are all great. Yeah. I just want to say thanks again for everyone for having me. I really appreciate it. This has been wonderful. Comment. Problem with GitHub Squares. What about Bitbucket and GitLab? Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I've done both too. I've had companies where the code base is totally private and you can't share that, right? It's all hidden behind there. But yeah, it's all part of it. Probably balance is key. Try and enjoy it, have balance, have a life. I think you're going to be all of us will be far more interesting if you have a life outside of programming. Okay, I'm wrapping up here. Thank you so much for having me. This has been great. Try to have fun. Stay involved. Stay engaged. Thank you for coming to this event. You guys are so amazing. I love you all. And till next time, bye!